Governor, I'm delighted to be with you to report on the progress of our work on the Canarsie Tunnel. First off, throughout, we've kept L service completely normal for 88% of the L train customers, and hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers would have been inconvenienced and had their commutes totally changed if you hadn't intervened and changed this project. I'll take you through some of the technical details of the work that I just discussed briefly with the governor. One of the biggest innovations of this project was separating the cable from the bench wall altogether. They are the wall structure and the bench wall are totally separate systems. The tunnel itself was in perfect shape. We just needed the bench wall to get out of the way of the schedule, and the solution with the FRP was a dramatic change that allowed us to speed this project and to it's working as planned. We did 6,300 linear feet of FRP, and we've only had to do 4,500 feet of demolition, barely 15% of the demolition that had been planned before. And the demolition, of course, was what was forcing the closure of the tunnel. Thanks to you, we didn't need to do that. Also, as you worked out with the Cornell and Columbia academic leaders, we're installing a fiber-optic monitoring system. It's designed to remotely monitor the stability of the tunnel infrastructure so we can easily detect and remediate any potential issues. And we've already done a mile, 1.7 miles roughly, of fiber-optic cable, and you see it along the wall just under 3 feet above track level. And it's working as planned. We're in the shakeout period, but it is working as planned. Preventing another Superstorm Sandy level impact is a major reason we're doing this project to begin with. So there's a lot of resiliency work. As you said, we've completely rebuilt the pump room. All of a sudden, we've got two pumps that can do 1,000 gallons an hour, and two others that are doing a lot more, 1,000 gallons a minute, excuse me, and two other pumps that are doing a lot better. We replaced all of the tracks and ties in this first tube, about 6,300 linear feet of track and tie work, and it's all continuously welded rail, which isn't just a smoother ride, but allows you to run trains faster because the rocking of the train, the reduced rocking of the train means you don't have any clearance issues. At First and Bedford Avenue, we're in the final stages of doing all the work on the station, on the tile, making those stations more ADA accessible and giving more vertical circulation as well. And of course, we've been able to design a service plan that, as I said, accommodates a substantial number of maneuvers with work trains, plenty in the tunnels, like you see here, but also keeping service going. I was on the L train a couple times yesterday, and it is working for people on the weekends, even when we have these one-track outages. Interestingly, with all this work going on, we have still managed to have L train services on-time performance increase since a year ago, and that's a testament to everything that you've been demanding from MTA and for the performance of the Transit Authority as well. We're up to 92.7% in this past May, which is up from a year ago. And as you said, we have been transparent with the public about air quality. We do weekly postings, and I think it's really significant that our encapsulation of all the demolition work, which was, as I said, very reduced, has resulted in literally virtually no silica being present in the air that is monitored on a continuous basis and which is posted to the internet on a weekly basis. So we've been very open with the public about the air quality, and it's been a very successful piece of this job. So finally, I really want to thank you. By challenging us to do the project differently and proving we can do things better, faster, and cheaper, you've set us on a course where I believe we're going to begin to execute this new MTA capital program that is so important to rebuilding our subways and meeting the challenge you've set forth. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Only my daughter applauded for me. Thank you. First, let me begin on a tragic note. We lost a police officer last night in the Bronx, 33 years old, police officer Brian Mulkeen. Our thoughts, prayers, hope his family finds peace with this. He was doing his job, which is a dangerous job. He was in the anti-gang, anti-street crime unit, and he made the greatest sacrifice. He put his life on the line, and he lost it in service to the people of this city. I've said this a number of times, but this is one of those moments that brings it home. Every person in this city has to remember the sacrifice that the NYPD makes, and they deserve respect from every person in this city. It's not an expression they put their lives on the line. They do put their lives on the line. And when we lose an officer, it brings it all home. And the families of the NYPD, every time an NYPD officer leaves the house, their wife, their husband, their child, their significant other has to wonder, are they coming home tonight? And it's not just an individual sacrifice they're making a sacrifice on behalf of their own family. And our reciprocity is respect. And let's remember that today. For this tunnel, I want to congratulate Jano Lieber and his whole team, Mark Roche and Sean Kildare. You have to remember, this was impossible to do when we first started talking about it. You couldn't do it. The MTA, as a bureaucracy often does, they were going to do what they did, and a bureaucracy repeats its culture. It's the culture of the bureaucracy. Well, we want change, we want innovation, we want improvement. No, we're a bureaucracy. We want to keep things as it is. So we brought in some new minds who brought international technological innovations to bear, and that's what you see here today. This is a better tunnel than it was. It is a better tunnel than the original design of the tunnel. Had they rebuilt it just as it was, you're replacing 100-year-old engineering today. Why would you do that? Why would you ever replace what they did 100 years ago today? Just think how absurd a concept that is. I'm going to build a new car. It's going to be called the Model T. No. So this is a better tunnel than ever before. The fiberglass reinforced polymer, you didn't have to break down all the bench wall, release all the silica. It was better, it was faster, it will last 100 years. The cable racking system, of course, instead of burying it in the bench wall, this is a bench wall, this cement wall to my right or to my left. The original design put the cables in the middle of the cement bench wall. Why? Because they needed to protect it in case of fire, and the only way they could protect the cable was by putting it in cement. But now you have coatings and coverings of the cables that are fire resistant, and you don't have to bury it in cement, which means you have access to it, you want to change it, you want to upgrade it, it's right here. The fiber optic monitoring system, how smart. Run a fiber optic through the whole tunnel. God forbid there's a tremor that maybe could impact the structural integrity of the tunnel, you'll know. It can detect water, can detect temperature changes. It's just a safer tunnel than ever before. So it is a better design. Okay, second was the speed of making the changes. The original plan, and the reason I got involved in the first place, was 15 to 18 months total shutdown of the L train. 15 to 18 months. That was the MTA estimate. Call me a cynic, but if the MTA estimated 15 or 18 months, you know, maybe 2 years. You close down the L train tunnel, roughly 300,000 people would be inconvenienced. You know what 300,000 people is? It's larger than the entire population of the city of Buffalo. It's larger than the population of the city of Newark. You can't just say to 300,000 people, oh, find another way to commute. So the challenge was, rebuild a better tunnel and do it faster. The original ambitious goal was, the MTA had said 15 to 18 months total shutdown. We will rehab it in 15 to 18 months with only weekends and nights as an outage, which was a major shift from total shutdown to just weekends and nights, and you'd have continued service. We have now exceeded that ambitious goal. And thanks to the good work of Jano and Mark Roche and Sean Kildare, the new ambitious goal is to have everything done and finished and the L train fully operational, not in 15 to 18 months, but in 12 months. And we are already ahead of schedule. By the current plan, if they keep working 7 days a week and depriving their family of their presence and comfort, we'll get it done by April. That will be 12 months in totality without any shutdown from an original design of 15 to 18 months total shutdown. The L train itself is a phenomenal piece of work and innovation, and I truly applaud the people who are doing what was impossible. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of people, when we said we were going to do this, the whole bureaucracy pushed back and said, you can't do it, it's impossible, we always do it the way we always do it. Yeah, news flash, innovation works, new technology works, finding faster, better ways works, and it's a lesson for the whole MTA. Because this shouldn't be the exception, this should be the rule. How do we do it better? How do we do it faster? What are they doing across the world? And it is just an extraordinary piece of work. Again, for the L train riders themselves, but also as an example for the whole MTA. Bring that innovation back. And that's what we're doing across the state. This project was impossible. I have news for you. The Kosciuszko Bridge was impossible. The Mario Cuomo Bridge was impossible. LaGuardia Airport, building a new airport while you're operating the old airport, that's impossible. Everybody knows that. The third track on the Long Island Railroad, that's impossible. No, nothing is impossible in New York. That's why New York is New York. But congratulations to this whole team.